half the department was in New York. Actually, more than half were in New York. Some were in Los Angeles. They had to do illustrations. They had to do the Sanskrit editing. They had to do the editing. They had to do the proofing and the everything. All they had to do the transcriptions. All they had was tapes of Srila Prabhupada speaking. 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And they worked First they had to bring everybody from New York. Most of them were householders, husbands and wives. And they all had to come to LA, Los Angeles, and they had to get accommodations. And they had to set up studios, and they didn't have much money. And this was all within the 2 months. And they were working 24-hour-a-day shifts. And ultimately, they finished all 17 volumes, the illustrations, the printing, the publishing, and they were brought to Prabhupada in India just before the deadline. How was it possible? It was not possible. But their intention was to please their Guru. Srila Prabhupada did the impossible with the intention to please his Guru. And then he wanted to give his disciples the taste of the same thing, to do the impossible to please their Guru. You see, when we really want to be instruments of Krishna's grace within this world, when we do not have greed, when we do not have selfish passion, when we really want to please Krishna, and we have the proper guidance on how to do it, that intention can attract a power infinitely greater than any of ours. Krishna can create universes within moments. And Krishna, who is within the heart of all of us, can empower us to overcome all obstacles, individually, personally, and socially, if we just have the right intention. That is what is all important. There is nothing more powerful than the sincere intention to love Krishna, to serve Krishna, and to please the great spiritual masters. Today in this world, we've been so distracted, so disconnected from the true needs of our hearts. Gauranga Prabhu was just discussing in his introduction the corruptions going on. The world is everywhere. We see so much idealistic revolutions happening. In the Middle East, there's revolutions against corruption of leaders. There's been the tearing down of tyrants. In Wall Street, which is to a large extent over the years like the heart of the world's finances. Due to excessive greed and arrogance, people misuse their positions to cause so much pain. ultimately to themselves and to so many others. And the people are becoming sick of this greed. There's all kinds of demonstrations, and the police are trying to deal with it. And it's growing. It's growing not only New York City, but the demonstrations are going all over, starting to spread all over America. And here in India, due to unfortunate corruption, influential people are fasting, demonstrating. Srila Prabhupada explained that lust, selfish passion, and greed are the greatest enemies to ourselves and to the society, and the greatest reasons for spiritual downfall. The subtle forms of lust are the desire for profit, adoration, and distinction. And even in a spiritual society, when we put ourself in the center rather than Krishna or God in the center, then even trying to get more and more followers, disciples, more and more properties, and build more and more temples, that could be a form of greed. We want more and more and more. But if we're motivated by profit, adoration, or distinction for ourselves, our service could be the cause of our fall down. We have to carefully check what is our intentions. We have to distinguish between the real plant or seed of devotion and the weeds that are inevitably going to be growing around it. In order to keep ourselves on the straight path, sadhu sangam is crucial. Association with holy people. Because that association gives a clear understanding of what intention we should focus on and how to nourish it. Satsang gives us knowledge and protects us from distraction. And we water the true seed of the real intention of prema bhakti through our sadhana, our spiritual practice, and through our seva, or practically dedicating our thoughts, our words, and our action to those intentions. Srila Prabhupada created the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to experience the higher taste of love for Krishna, love for God, and compassion to others as the real wealth. What gives real, true fulfillment to the heart. And to create a society of people that could inspire and protect individually and collectively from the distractions of the weeds and the bad dogs that are within us and without us and outside of us. There is no greater power in all of the universe than a simple and humble devotee's intention to please God, to please Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, for that brilliant talk, and it was so inspiring for all of us. And I'm sure there may be some questions on this. But before we begin the questions and answers, I would just like to welcome several special guests who are here this evening. We have with us Mr. American Swami, along with his good wife. We have Mr. Sunil Dhamane, Mr. Saurabh Pandey, Mr. Amit Mukim, Mr. Mandar and Meghan Jadhav, along with their parents, Dr. Rajashri Katke, Dr. Nisha Thakre, Mr. Siddharth Javeri, Mr. Harshad, Mr. Saurabh Dagat Khere, Mr. Girish Kaparde, Mr. Ashok Shah, Dr. Podar, Mr. and Mrs. Ravi Subramaniam, and Her Grace Yamuna Leela Devi Dasi, and Her Grace Chintamani Devi Dasi. So we would like to welcome all of these special guests this evening by loudly chanting. So we are happy to announce that the next Prerna Festival, which will be the 100th Prerna Festival, will be held on the December 10th, Saturday. And the topic for that will be a small beginning can make a big difference. So something to that effect. The topic will be further fine-tuned, and then Maharaj is giving something similar in Ahmedabad this month end, and there is a topic something like this. And of course the youth festival on January the 21st is going to be organized by the youth for the youth. So it's going to be a mega event, and we want all of you to participate in organizing that also. And please register for this website iys.radhagopinath.com. And now if there are any newcomers or those who have come for the first time, we would request you to stand up on your seats. Those who have come for the Prerna Festival for the first time, so there are lots of wonderful people who have come for the first time. Let us welcome them by loudly chanting. Thank you very much. Please have your seat. We have this festival every month, and we request you to get connected to the stall below. For the newcomers stall, we request you to please hold on. We still have a question answer session to begin. And there is a newcomers stall where you can get connected and get information about all the different programs we have all across Mumbai. And incidentally, for those who have already been coming for some time and are interested to participate in the book distribution marathon starting in December, there is a bus party which is going on an exciting tour all across North India, starting from Haridwar from November the 21st up till December somewhere in December, and there are volunteers needed from the IYS if you want to go on an exciting journey distributing Srila Prabhupada's books on a traveling Sankirtan party. So you can contact the stall below and contact His Grace Panchapandav Prabhu if you are interested in participating in this. And now we would request for those who have any questions, please raise your hands and the mic will follow.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, many times we have discussions with outsiders about God and philosophy, and I always use a word like my Guru says this, according to my Guru this is right, according to my Guru this is wrong, and this is to be done according to my Guru, this is not to be done. And towards the end normally they are very impressed with our philosophy and they ask me, who is your Guru? I join my hands and I say, it's Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So my question is, Maharaj, is this right to say that you are my Guru, and is there a possibility to be in a relationship of a student and a Guru eternally without any authorized process like Diksha? Just through heart, I believe Maharaj is my Guru, I offer you prayers, I try to follow your principles. Is there a possibility to be in a relationship with as a student and Guru eternally, Maharaj? Thank you.
Gauranga Prabhu could answer your question. I'm just trying to serve. Srila Prabhupada is given his life, his soul, his everything to bring the world to Krishna. And in my own heart, anyone who comes to this wonderful mission of Lord Chaitanya is a very precious and dear servant of Srila Prabhupada, and I'm trying to assist them and serve them. If you want me to be your friend, your servant, your guide, your guru, whatever way I could best serve you, I'm honored and happy to serve you. Essentially, the real relationship between a guru and disciple is of the heart. To accept the Guru's instructions as one's life and soul, and to apply those instructions into our life. The primary instruction Prabhupada gave all of us is, in order to really water that seed of bhakti, of spiritual intention to love and please Krishna, we water it by chanting the holy names, by hearing about Krishna, by associating with devotees of Krishna, by chanting the names of Krishna, by doing seva. But this chanting is the most powerful method of cleaning the heart of lust, envy, anger, pride, greed, and illusion. So one who takes this message with the proper intention, that is the real and deep connection between Guru and disciple. The process of diksha or initiation is sacred and holy. It has been given as a direction from the scriptures and from the great acharyas throughout the ages to formalize and empower that relationship. But diksha without the proper intent, without that taking shelter and surrender of heart, is quite meaningless. It is a formalization, an empowerment that, if done with the proper intention, gives us greater strength and gives us greater blessings to carry out the will of the heart. Does that answer your question? And it also helps us because it impels us to make commitment. Sometimes, in a sentimental way, we want to have a guru on our terms, without commitment, which is good. But to actually have the power, the blessings, and the grace to overcome the obstacles of this world, commitment is required. As a student, in order to get your degree, you have to commit yourself to your studies. If you don't commit yourself to your studies, you'll just watch television all day, or go to Bollywood cinemas, or cricket matches, or whatever else. But that commitment, you focus. If I want my degree, I have to actually study. If you're going to be a doctor, you have to commit yourself to the medical profession. To succeed in anything in this world in a substantial way, we have to make commitment. For marriage is to work. In Kali Yuga, there will be every type of excuse in due course of time to break up and go our own ways. But there's vows before marriage, according to every great religion in the world, so that we really take the commitment seriously. And with those commitments, we really feel, I have to overcome these obstacles with integrity. Yes? So in spiritual life, commitment gives us strength, gives us focus, and also gives us blessings through connection. So for that reason, it's very sacred. But it has to be built on the sincerity and the intention of our hearts.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, I want to know, one statement is, Krishna never enters into my free will. One statement. The second statement is, what will happen, what Krishna wants. Then these two statements are contradictory, or how, if they are not, then how they are going parallel.
What will happen when Krishna wants?
Yeah, matlab, what is happening is what Krishna wants.
Hari Hari. Krishna is always willing. We have our free will. Whether we want to be parallel with Krishna's, whether we want to be separate from or in union with Krishna's will. That is the independent free will that we are given. Because for love to have depth and satisfaction, it must be a choice that's based on free will. Krishna doesn't create us as computerized program machines to love. Krishna is a supreme person. And He has created us as persons with the free will to love. And where there's love, there's choice to do so many other things also. I'll give an example. When I was young, I had a person who was a friend of mine. And in the neighborhood I grew up in, it was mostly homes of people who really struggled to be in the middle class. There was a few families that were very wealthy, but most people were relatively comfortable, but quite simple and hardworking. But in the neighborhood, there was one family that was the wealthiest of all families. And anyways, I left that neighborhood and I hitchhiked to India and I became a Swami. But this one person who I was associated with, who was very wealthy, he was 1 year older than me, and his younger brother was 1 year younger than me. And I think it was in the late 70s or early 80s, the father died. And he had millions of dollars. And he gave to his 2 sons. So the older brother, he took that money and invested it in property. Now, he's obviously not a Swami. He bought a big, beautiful land in a western state of the United States. And he bought pedigree horses for riding. And he bought an airplane. Since he had an airplane, he got a license to fly. And he got nice cars. And he invested it. And the property values were going up and up and up. Then he got married and had several children. So that's what he did with his father's money. The younger brother, same amount of money. He had some bad association. He met some people who convinced him to be greedy. You have this much money, but you can invest it and within a month get 10 times more. And they convinced him to invest it in smuggling of cocaine, a drug, just one time. And your wealth will multiply like anything. So due to that association, he was convinced of it. Instead of being content with what he had, he wanted to make it big, 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 very quickly. He was arrested and put in prison. To this day, he's in prison. Sitting in a prison cell. It's already been about 35 years. His older brother has done everything, spending fortunes to try to get him out, but he can't. So the father gave the same amount of money to both. One used their free will to invest it in a positive, legal, nice way. He raised the family and he's enjoying like anything. And the other person, due to association, used the same money to try to feed his greed. and he has no access to any of his money. He's just in a little cell. Now, is it his father's fault for giving him the money? What do you say? Huh? Is it his fault or his father's fault? It was his free will. So Krishna tells us in Gita, Aham bija pratapita. I am the father and the mother of all living beings. By Krishna's grace, he gives us our bodies, he gives us our minds, he gives us knowledge, he gives us, if we want, ignorance. He gives us, yada yada hi dharmasya glanirabhavati bharata. He comes to this world again and again and again to tell us how to use what he's given us. But he gives us the free will. And some people use it properly, and they're happy, and they go back home, back to Godhead. And other people, they get deeper entrenched in the prison cell of material suffering. So yes, Krishna gives us everything to recognize that and to use it in harmony with the will of the proprietor, Krishna. The Gita tells, Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shanti mrichati. That real peace can be attained when we simply recognize Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Ultimately, everything is for the pleasure and enjoyment of Krishna, and that Krishna is our best well-wishing friend and benefactor. And when we make our choices according to that principle, then we'll be liberated from karma and suffering forever. In one sense, yes, everything is under the control of Krishna, because we can have no free will if Krishna doesn't give it to us. But to facilitate love perfectly, he has given us free will. Just like that father gave the money to his sons. Is there another question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. While doing our duties or job, what should be our intention towards truth of life?
Samsadira Haritoshanam. The Srimad Bhagavat tells us, Ata Pumbir Dvijast, that whatever our occupational duty may be in this world, whatever our varna or ashram, its success is when we please Krishna. The intention to please Krishna and the education to understand what really does please Krishna, and the empowerment coming from the association of devotees in our own sadhana, so we can actually live according to the integrity of our ideals, even in the face of temptation and fear. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj, for giving such enlightening answers to all the queries. And we will have the last kirtan now, and once again to remind you, the next prerna will be on December the 10th and Saturday. So let us, in conclusion, once again thank His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj for his wonderful presentation by loudly chanting. Thank you all very much. Now you can get ready for the last kirtan. Hare Krishna. Will you sing, Maharaj, or shall I get somebody to sing? Okay, we have kirtan now. Singers. Hello. Hello. Singers. Yeah, Gaur Gopal. Now chant. Maharaj is not singing.
Hare Krishna.
बैठ के गाने क्या उखाड़ा